Hey gang, Corey with YARC West, and in today's video we're just going to do a quick upgrade to the Redcat Ascent. We're going to swap out the stock tires and wheels and replace them with some metal Treal beadlocks that look fantastic. They match the color scheme really well. Some JConcepts Tusks, and we're going to be using the Injora Silicone Inserts. See how sticky they are. All right, I'm gonna get it mounted up and I'll be right back. Okay, brief interlude here. I have 3 of them mounted. Normally I don't make videos of myself mounting them or show them in the video. One, because I assume everybody already knows how to do it, and 2, because I don't always know what I'm doing, and sometimes I'm just figuring it out as I go along. But I have a friend who got into the hobby and he hasn't ever mounted tires and wheels, beadlock wheels before. So this is partly for him, and this is partly for maybe somebody in the future runs across this video and they might find some information helpful. If you are comfortable with it, you can just skip past this. Additionally, I usually don't use these types of beadlocks with this outer ring here, just because the screws can be kind of tedious, the amount of them. But every beadlock style has its pros and cons, but these ones look much better on the Ascent than any of the other ones I've seen, so we're going to use these. So I'm just going to quickly walk you through my process of mounting them. So the first thing I do is check the tire to determine whether or not it is directional. Usually you can tell by the center lug. Now this seems to be forward. It doesn't seem to matter if you run it backwards or run it forward. Ideally you probably want them all facing the same direction, though I do know some people will run their back tires backwards and the front lugs forward. But that's all up to you. And simply what you want to do is, if you are not going to use the stock foams, you want to pull them out. It's pretty easy. You just get your hand in there and you kind of fold them down like that. Foams come right out. Then I just kind of determine, is this a good foam? Is it soft? Is it hard? Is it possible that I might want to use this on something else? These foams are pretty soft, not too soft. I think they're pretty good. Consider using them again. Since I'm using these Injora Silicone Inserts, we have to get these in here, which are a little more difficult than the foams, but it's actually not complicated if you have a method. So what I do is just fold it and then fold it again like that. And you just got to get it in. You know, work around the rubber of the tire. It's fine. You know, you can be a little rough with it. You obviously don't want to rip it, but it's not a baby, so it's okay. Then I kind of just squish it around, pull on it a little bit, expand it the best I can, and again make sure I pay attention to the direction of the tread. And then what you want to do is dismount these beadlocks. I prefer using an electric screwdriver. If you're going to do that, make sure you have one that has low torque. This one seems to function really well. I have it on the lowest torque setting, so as soon as it hits resistance, it just stops. So first thing I'm going to do is remove the lug. Of course, I didn't get it out all the way because I'm on camera. All right. Put your screw in a pile that makes sense. So just as a note, the hex is the part that's going to go on the inside. This is what's going to attach to the tire. The circular part attaches to the dish, right? So again, like I had mentioned about the different types of bead locks, you're going to have to go through all of these screws to get them out and get them back on. Now, Treal provides a tool for these here, but again, I just kind of prefer electric. I'll use this at the end to sure up everything. Screwing things out with electric screwdrivers are much less dangerous than screwing them in. And again, I'm going to speed up a lot of this, so it's not, you know, waste your time. All right. So then I kind of pull it apart, set everything out in front of me so I understand. This is the inner ring. This needs to go inside here, which can be a little challenging, but it's just kind of elbow grease. What happens is, since the rubber is kind of sticky and pliable, it will stick as you put it in. What I do is I'll just look through here and just try to make sure that it's as center as possible. Eventually, even if you don't do this, eventually it will become center just from use. But you want to make sure that you remove as much wobble as you can. It's going to wobble, period, but it'll get better with use, and if you get it as centered as possible, then much less wobble. And for this, again, just kind of look through, get it as even as I can. A lot of squishing, just kind of trying to push it into the center. Now, again, identify forward, and then the back ring will go in. So you try to get it as best you can. I like to push on it, get it down like that, and then I just kind of will push and just make sure that the bead is as secure as possible. I mean, it's fully not locked on yet, but it shouldn't come out, right? So another reason why I don't like these in particular is you can see that the lip is kind of already outside. And what you want to do, there's a ring in here, and the lip needs to be inside that ring. Now, if anyone has any suggestions on an easy way to do that, I would love to hear it, because it's kind of a pain. So what I do is I just have this little tool where I can't actually get it down in there. I try to get some of it down in there, but I just go around so it's not interfering when I put the ring on. See, like down here. I don't want it to interfere with the ring, because it makes it much harder to get this on. All right, so once you got it the best you can get it, we're going to put the outer ring on. And it's good to have something you can hold it up to and look and see if the holes are lined up, because if the holes are even off just a little bit, it's going to be a pain getting the hexes in. So I'll just push down a little bit. I'll pull the ring out, or the bead out just a little bit to make sure that it's not coming off completely. And I have as you can see, there's a black or a white wall behind me, so it makes it a little easier to see if I got it. Sometimes you'll have to readjust it. It's just the way it is. I mean, if you get it right the first time, every time, you're a hero. All right, and now we want to get our first stud started. And again, if it's even off a little bit or there's bead in the way, it's going to be a pain. So generally what I like to do is just try to get one in a little bit. Don't go all the way in, because you want to tighten it as evenly as possible so the bead locks appropriately. And sometimes if you hold it at just the right angle, you can see if you're off just a little bit. So just get one started. You can already see it pulling down. That's why it's important that you don't screw it in all the way. You want to do your best to try to do the star pattern, right? So this is the point where I fast forward. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just go around and tighten everything back up, try to do the best I can to stay back in the star pattern. And then once I've done that, I'm going to do the hand tighten test with the tool that Treal provides. Okay, now that that's mounted, I'm going to double check the bead. Just make sure it doesn't pull out. Make sure it's secure. And then lastly, mount this back up. And if you've used Treal before, you know that they provide loads of extra hexes. These ones are pretty easy to get in. Just got to line it up with the light. Get one in a little bit so there's some play, so it's easier to line up in case for whatever reason it's not lined up properly, like that. And then from here you just screw the rest in. And like I said, if you're going to use an electric screwdriver, make sure you have one where you can adjust the torque on it, because you don't want to strip these hexes. One good thing about Treal is they provide really good hexes. I've definitely used some other hexes provided by other companies that almost strip immediately just with basic hand tools. So we'll get this last one in and then do the hand test again. You see, it's going to look like I'm going to get some tire wrap, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Let's hand test these. If anything you found in here is even remotely helpful, a like and subscribe would be appreciated. You're not obligated to do so though. Alright, so I'm going to get 3 of them mounted up. leave one of them on so you can see the difference between what they come with versus what they look like now. All right, quick stop. You can see the difference between stock and upgrade. I don't know, what do you think? Better, worse? And just as an aside, all my talk about make sure you mount yours the proper direction, I actually mounted one incorrectly, so hooray. All right, get the next one done, and then that will be it. All right, there it is, metal beadlock wheels, JConcepts Tusks, Injora Silicone Inserts, added additional weight to it, which is great. Color scheme matches a lot better now, and I actually really do like these tires. They're going to be used again on another truck. Normally ready to run tires don't get seen again, but those ones will for sure. All right, thanks for checking it out.